When Caitlin Clark stepped back onto the Carver Hawkeye Arena floor, something magical happened. The crowd erupted to 116 decibels during player introductions, louder than even some NFL and NBA games, before she even touched the ball. But when Clark launched a 36-foot three-pointer from the exact spot where she broke Kelsey Plum's NCAA scoring record, the arena literally shook. 7 months away from basketball didn't change a thing. Caitlin Clark's homecoming wasn't just a game, it was a statement about what's coming in 2025. In this video, we'll talk about the magical moments you may have missed during the celebrated game. If you're excited about the upcoming season, comment "Fired up for the fever" down below. What happens when a hometown hero returns after conquering the basketball world? Iowa City gave us the answer, and it was louder than anyone expected. Hours before tip-off, fans lined up outside Carver Hawkeye Arena. They weren't just there for the game. They wanted to see warm-ups, to breathe the same air as Caitlin Clark for as long as possible. The line wrapped around the building, people standing in the May weather just waiting for doors to open. All this for a preseason game that wouldn't count in any standings. 7 months is a long time in basketball. 7 months away from professional competition made us miss every single moment Clark was on the court. What will she do in her first play? Will she hit a logo three? Those questions got answered the moment Clark stepped onto the court. The roar was immediate. Not just any cheer. We're talking about noise that hit 116 decibels during player introductions. That's louder than most NFL games. Louder than playoff basketball. All for a player introduction in a preseason game. Yeah, getting to go back to Iowa, it's so exciting. I obviously haven't really been there much since I left about a year ago. And I think just getting to see people that have supported me throughout my career and continue to support me is going to be incredible. But also, like, they're the biggest Indiana Fever fans too now. Like, they want to meet all my teammates. They want to cheer for my teammates. And I was telling some of the girls the other day, I'm like, they're going to go crazy for you too. This wasn't just any arena for Clark. This was Carver Hawkeye, the place where she became a household name, where she broke records that seemed unbreakable, where she turned women's college basketball into must-see TV. Iowa is now called the epicenter of women's basketball because of Clark. The walls of this building had seen her grow from promising freshman to basketball icon. And the fans? They paid an average of $670 per ticket. That's not regular season prices. That's not playoff prices. That's, I need to be there for a historic moment prices. Some drove hours across state lines, took days off work, just to see their hero back on her home court. Even Clark's teammates understood the significance. Lexi Hull, 22 Iowa jersey during pregame. A beautiful gesture acknowledging this wasn't just another game for her teammate. This was a homecoming. They're going to have signs about you. They want your autograph. They want a high five from you. And I think that's what I appreciate about them the most is, like, they want to cheer not only for myself, but everybody else on this team. And they have so much fun watching us. So now getting to take the Indiana Fever to them and their environment. I was telling Lexi and some of the other girls this other day is, like, this will be the loudest arena you have ever played in. They're going to scream. They're going to cheer. When I tell them to get up, they're going to get up. So it'll be fun to get to go back there since my last time playing there in the NCAA tournament my senior year, so it should be really special. The emotion hit Clark too. You could see it in her eyes during warm-ups, scanning the familiar arena now packed to its 15,000-person capacity. This building launched her into basketball immortality, and now she returned to something even bigger, a professional who had changed the game forever. But this homecoming wasn't just about nostalgia and ceremonies. As Clark took the floor for tip-off, it became clear this night wasn't just symbolic. It was the perfect showcase to prove that her connection to Iowa remained unbroken, and her basketball brilliance had only grown stronger during her time away. The ball went up for the opening tip, and the entire arena leaned forward in their seats. Clark settled into position, and that familiar focus returned to her eyes. No one in that arena could have predicted how perfectly the night would unfold for Clark and her teammates. But they were about to find out. And the journey would start with a shot that would bring the house down. In sports, some moments go beyond just points on a scoreboard. They tell a story all by themselves. Right of the jump, Clark hits the first basket, and you guessed it, a three-pointer. Who knew that was just a warm-up to what would happen later in the game, when Caitlin Clark pulled up from 36 feet out in the third quarter at Carver Hawkeye Arena? With 25 seconds left on the clock, she took 3 quick dribbles and launched a shot that wasn't just a basket. It was Clark announcing to everyone that she was back. Early in the game, you could see Clark settling into her rhythm. The same confidence, the same court vision that made her a legend at Iowa was still there. Her movements looked familiar to everyone who had watched her dominate college basketball. The passes were crisp, the decisions quick, the smile unmistakable. The Brazil national team was already struggling to keep up with the Fever's offense when Clark crossed half-court with that look in her eyes. You know the one, where she sees something nobody else does. The defenders backed up, but not far enough. They never do. What made this moment even more special? The exact spot on the floor where Clark pulled up wasn't random. It was the very same location where she had broken Kelsey Plum's scoring record during her senior season. History repeating itself in the most perfect way, now with her new team and under her retired jersey. Without a hint of hesitation, Clark launched the ball from way beyond the three-point line. The shot arced high above the defense in that signature trajectory that Hawkeye fans had seen hundreds of times before. The ball swished through the net without touching the rim, adding that extra touch of magic to an already electric moment. The reaction from her teammates told the whole story. Later, when Clark asked if the arena got loud after her shot, Sophie Cunningham joked, "When you scored?" "No." Lexi Hall added with a grin, "No one really cared." That playful back and forth showed something special brewing with this Fever team. Genuine chemistry that goes beyond the court. The crowd's response hit 117 decibels, creating a physical sensation that players described feeling in their chests. This wasn't just noise. It was pure joy unleashed from nearly 15,000 fans who had been waiting for exactly this moment. Fever coach Stephanie White summed it up perfectly. The shot was a good momentum builder, and exactly what everyone wanted to see from Clark in that arena. "That's just who she is, what she does," White said, capturing the essence of what makes Clark special. Yeah, I thought it was electric. It's what you've seen, whether it's from the outside on television or being here broadcasting, but to actually feel the energy. I mean, it is a thing. When you talk about having a six-man, so to speak, crowd energy, it gives you a lift, it gives you a boost. It's why we all do what we do, like to feed into these kinds of environments, and so it was a lot of fun. This single shot represented everything about Clark. The fearlessness, the unlimited range, the flair for big moments, and the deep connection to her basketball roots in Iowa. The logo three-pointer wasn't just another highlight for social media. It was Clark's way of telling everyone that her WNBA journey would continue the magic she created at Iowa. With that shot finding nothing but net, the stage was set for what would become a dominant team performance. The hometown hero wasn't just back. She was better than ever. The final score read 108-44, but numbers could never capture what happened at Carver Hawkeye Arena that night. Caitlin Clark's return to the court wasn't just a game. It was the first chapter of what looks like an unforgettable sophomore campaign. Sure, that 36-foot logo 3 got everyone out of their seats, but watching Clark for the full 19 minutes she played revealed something more important. This isn't the same player who left the court 7 months ago. This is Caitlin Clark unleashed. While everyone focused on the final score, something more meaningful was happening on that court. For 7 months, Clark had been away from professional basketball. 7 months to think, to train, to evolve. The question wasn't if she'd come back strong. It was how much stronger would she be. The answer jumped off the screen immediately. The added muscle on Clark's frame wasn't just for show. She absorbed contact in the lane that would have sent rookie Clark stumbling. She finished through defenders who thought they had her stopped. Plays that ended with Clark on the floor last season now ended with points on the board, and Clark jogging back on defense. Her court vision reached new levels too. One pass in particular stood out. A threading needle between two defenders that hit Aaliyah Boston perfectly in stride for an easy basket. Another time, she spotted Kelsey Mitchell in the corner before Mitchell even knew she was open. The ball arrived right in the shooting pocket, and 3 more points for the Fever. What struck everyone watching wasn't just the skill, it was the joy. Every pass, every shot, every defensive stop came with that unmistakable Clark energy. She smiled after good plays, she clapped for teammates, she pumped her fist when Boston grabbed a tough rebound. This wasn't a player going through the motions. This was someone who truly missed the game she loves. The post-game moments hit just as hard as the game itself. Clark embraced former Iowa staff members, tears visibly forming in her eyes. When she finally checked out of the game, every single fan stood, creating a wall of appreciation that moved even the most stoic observers. Her post-game interview, where she thanked Iowa fans for always having my back, felt like the perfect ending to a perfect night. As the final minutes ticked away on that 64-point victory, you could feel something bigger happening. This wasn't just a preseason win. This wasn't just Clark putting on a show for her old fans. This was the Indiana Fever planning their flag for 2025. The foundation is being built right before our eyes. A team that moves the ball, that plays with joy, that has chemistry you can't fake. And at the center of it all stands Caitlin Clark, the hometown hero who returned to Iowa to show everyone that her basketball story is just getting started. Honestly, I was really excited to just get out there and play, especially getting to do it for the first time of this season in front of these fans was really cool for myself, and just seeing the amount of people and young girls and young boys that stand there and scream for me to sign their stuff, I don't take that for granted. That's so cool. I would be lying to you if I thought that was just normal and everybody gets to do that. They don't. Behind all the excitement about Caitlin Clark's homecoming was something even more promising for Indiana Fever fans. Signs that this team is building something truly special. It wasn't just about one player. It was about a completely transformed team. The way the Fever dismantled Brazil showed everything that was missing last season. The ball zipped around the court, finding open shooters. Defenders swarmed to the ball, forcing 26 turnovers. Players celebrated each other's success. This wasn't just Clark and friends. This was a real team. After a rookie season filled with growing pains, many wondered if Clark could truly mesh with her new teammates. Could all this individual talent collected during the off-season actually translate to wins? Could they turn potential into results? For one night at least, the answer was a resounding yes. Kelsey Mitchell showed exactly why she's the perfect scoring partner for Clark. Her 17 points included 4 three-pointers, many coming off Clark's pinpoint passes. Mitchell's 3 steals also highlighted how her defensive intensity has increased. When asked about the offensive improvement from their previous preseason game, Clark didn't mince words. It wasn't choppy like our Washington game. That was hard to watch at times. Aaliyah Boston's performance might have been the most encouraging sign of all. Her 11 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists demonstrated the two-woman game with Clark that could become the backbone of this offense. Boston's ability to make smart decisions with the basketball stood out all night, creating scoring opportunities for herself and teammates. Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham proved they're exactly the type of complementary players this team needs. Hull knocked down 3 three-pointers while Cunningham's energy and basketball IQ created perfect spacing. Their willingness to make the extra pass and find open shots kept the offense flowing. Dewana Bonner, Natasha Howard, Sydney Colson, and Michaela Timpson brought in the energy, the grit, and the hustle. Check out this sweet play from Colson to Howard. Coach Stephanie White's defensive approach looks completely different too. The team held Brazil to single-digit scoring in 2 quarters, something that would have seemed impossible last season. Our defense was really good, White said, though she noted they're still working to minimize miscommunications and mistakes. The pace and flow of the Fever's offense looked nothing like last year. Players made decisive cuts, found the open shooter, and played with confidence. Clark orchestrated without dominating, showing complete trust in her teammates. Perhaps most telling was Clark's physical transformation. The added muscle was obvious, helping her absorb contact that would have sent her flying last year. Clark explained, "Being consistent in your training helps you feel better throughout the season and in the playoffs. The game gets more physical." As the final buzzer sounded on that 64-point victory, the celebration wasn't just about the return of a star. It was the first glimpse of a team that spent 7 months building a foundation for what could be a breakthrough season. The Indiana Fever aren't just Clark's team. They're a complete unit ready to make serious noise in 2025. I'm glad I can be a role model for them, and, they have a great impact on me too, and, that's why you do it, even at the end of the day, say I scored 0 points, I'm sure they still would have been there screaming my name and wanting an autograph, and I think that just really kind of puts into perspective the impact and, You know, there's a lot more bigger things in life than basketball. What happened at Carver Hawkeye Arena wasn't just a basketball game. It was a glimpse into the future of women's basketball. Clark's return to Iowa showed us something special. A connection between player and fans that goes beyond jerseys and scoreboards. When Clark encouraged that final cheer as she left the court, she wasn't just saying goodbye. She was saying, "See you soon," to a journey that's only beginning. The Fever aren't just building a team. They're building something that could change women's basketball forever. With veterans, new additions, and a coaching staff pushing them forward, 2025 isn't just another season.